Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are well. Great to have you here again for another episode of Impact Dynamics Live. It is Thursday night. That means it's reloading night, and we've got a excellent guest who there's something special about him right at the top as well we'll talk about. But looking forward to having Shaun Watts on board tonight to talk reloading and all sorts of stuff. So if you've got questions about reloading, put them in the comments as soon as you see Shaun on screen, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. A bunch of people saying g'day in the chat. We've got Scott and Steve and Craig and Sheldrake and Emma and Brad. G'day, guys. Hope you're doing well. Ben's in on the chat as well. This is awesome to see. There's so many regular guys. Guys, if you're doing Team Impact, if you're doing something, let us know what you did today to work towards whatever goal it is that you did. I did a little bit of boxing. I'm terrible at boxing. I got no idea what I'm going to do. If anyone knows how to do boxing, please let me know, because I need to. I don't know. I just punch the bag as much as I can, and then when I'm tired, which is about 3 minutes later. But I try and go for about 20 minutes and go from there. Charles is in, Ian's in, Ben's in. It's all going on. In Edric, Anthony, Emma again. Oh, Emma's giving the surprise away. Emma, shush. Anyway, now that's a pretty common thing to say. Emma, shut up. Anyway, right. What I need to tell you, well, tonight being reloading night, as you probably guessed, tonight's sponsor is Projectile Warehouse. You can save 5% off the entire website at Projectile Warehouse using the code IDLIVE5, IDLIVE, number 5 on the end. And we've got more and more stuff arriving next week. Bunch of Spear, bunch of Nozzler arriving next week. So looking forward to all of that. And little sneak peek, some new scoped out website coming soon. But anyway, that's all happening. More hellos in the chat. G'day, guys. Hope you are doing well. Emma, hope you've been doing push-ups today. She's trying to double her amount of push-ups she can do, which is an excellent goal. Look forward to that in another week and a bit. What are we, 4 days down now? Actually, if you have any results, if you've done something, Ben, I want to see what you're up to. Tell us what's happening. All right, Ian's come in with a great pun on where Ben lives. That's a perfect way to do it. Excellent. What else can we tell you? Oh, that's right. Andy dropped me a video. Andy Lill, he said on Monday night that he was going to take up yoga. Well, I'm not sure you want to see this, but this is what we've got to show you. Let's see if this is going to work.
All right, isolation, masturbation. I mean workouts.
We might just fix that audio for a minute. Let's do that and tidy that.
Oh. Do I just lie here? Can I just lie down for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes? Right. Session 1 of the Impact Challenge. A little yoga workout for myself. For everybody who is interested, I'm using a eco-friendly yoga mat, 100% latex free. Yes. But yeah, keen to see how I feel after doing this for a while, and hopefully feel a little bit more nimble. Like, yeah, can't wait. Keep it up, guys. Team Impact. Whatever your challenge is, share it around. We'll get behind you, and yeah, good on you.
Right, well done, Andy. I tell you what, if I started yoga, that's probably where I'd want to end up, being able to do that. But anyway, good start, mate. You've done well. You've done very well. I have. By the way, I've sneaked it the other night. But Dave Acker video coming tomorrow. You will not want to miss that. He has been setting up that Illinois Agility Challenge, and he has taken a very Canadian approach to it. you'll see tomorrow more. You'll see more tomorrow with our chat with Ian Porter. Looking forward to that. If you're not familiar with Ian, he runs Porter Machine Works and has all sorts of cool kit underway. Always got a mind that just keeps on ticking with new ideas and all sorts of stuff. All right. Anyway, so guys, if you are doing anything for Team Impact, it doesn't really matter what it is. If your goal is to clean up the backyard over this weekend, well, hit us a photo before and hit us a photo afterwards, and let's see stuff getting done, which is awesome. All right, let's bring Shaun on tonight. Let's find him here. One little thing we've got to let you guys know, and I want the chat to blow up on this one, but it is Shaun's Earth Day today, and he has decided very graciously to spend it with us. He actually has a birthday cake sitting waiting, and he'll be cutting it with the family once we're done. So let's get this underway. Let's get these questions rolling. But everyone shout out, hey, birthday to Shaun Watts. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How you doing?
Going good. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, cheers for that, mate.
just another year, hey?
Yeah, I don't think you could call 2020 just another year. Whose idea was that?
Yeah, fair call. Fair call. It's I don't know what to call it, but here we are, and if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be here. So we'll probably be shooting a match this weekend. Who knows? But anyway, that is the way. Right, yeah. Mate. Now you've got a fairly extensive shooting history and all sorts of hunting and obviously into PRS and that sort of gear. Can you give us like the 30-second rundown of the shooting that Shaun has done?
Oh, righto. So as a kid, it was just general hunting and mucking around and just loved playing with guns. Probably had a bit of a hiatus there. I got into fishing pretty big for quite a long time.
Yep.
And then, for want of a better word, I wasn't bored with it, but I just decided I wanted to change and started camping and getting back into outdoors again, and got back into shooting in general. And then met a guy named Charlie, and
yep.
We got into the long range sort of stuff, just sort of self-teaching ourselves. And he's got a nice block where we go and have a play.
Yeah.
And we've sort of moved on slowly from there, as far as getting into the reloading side of it a lot more technically and trying to achieve better results. And then PRS came along because we started to get fairly reasonable at it.
Yep.
And then realised we need to use it for something. So
yeah, nice. And what was the first? Sorry, mate.
There's a few of us that shoot together, but sort of Charlie and I are the only two that have stuck with the PRS. Some of the other guys, they're not sort of into that as much. But there's five of us. We all try and get together pretty regularly. At least a couple of times a year to have a bit of a session together.
Yeah, sensational.
It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. You're pushing some decent distances out there as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we do at times. Yeah, we've got the ability to get to almost 2Ks. We haven't really had a crack at that many times yet, just through haven't had the opportunity. And the one time where we did get a good opportunity, things weren't dialed in quite as well as we would have liked, so the results were less than impressive.
Oh, well, that's the way, mate. Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. And so reloading's been, how long has that been on the caper for you? You've been doing that for a while?
Yeah, probably close to 15 years now. Like really seriously, probably only in the last 6 or 7, like really got into getting the better gear and getting to know the finer points of it all,
Yep.
Yeah. But, it's something I got. I bought my first cartridge I started reloading for was a 204. I liked shooting that rifle, and the factory ammo was pretty exy at the time, so that's where I started at. And then we've got probably load for about 25 cartridges now. I do quite a bit for other people too. They just buy the dies and
right.
Yeah, it's good though. Most of them only shoot a couple of 100 rounds a year, so I might only do one lot, and then I won't see them for a while,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good to get experience with different cartridges too, but
We can sort of see there's a few bits and pieces hiding behind you, all sorts of reloading gear. But I noticed the man cave rules. Are you able to tell us what the rules of the room are?
Oh, mate, yeah. When I built the shed, everyone bought me all these man cave signs and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so you can scratch where it itches, hydrate with beer, although I prefer bourbon and Coke myself.
Yep.
No chick flicks, no crying. Junk food's allowed, and flatulence is allowed. That's all pretty well given anywhere. So
yeah, gotcha. So pretty standard. Nothing earth shattering there. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Now, mate, got a couple of questions come in already, so we're going to jump on those. Let me just see what I've missed. Sheldrake has said he's working on a promo video, which is good, and he peed on his bag, and he actually did pee on his bag to prove that it was waterproof. I may have read that wrong, but anyway, that's what I'm going to say. All right, Anthony says, I've noticed a few guys in previous reloading episodes mentioned they use a separate or cheaper press for depriming. What is the reason behind this? Do you do the same?
No, I don't. I think the only reason that people do that is just, one, if you've got a couple of guys in the shed, one can be doing that while the other one's using the other press, and to try and maybe just save a bit of wear on your good press, which, is probably merit to both of those things,
Yeah. I can add in one of the things that I see people doing by having that second press is depriming is probably because you generally do that before the cases are clean. So of the whole process, it's the dirtiest process. And so your whole press sort of setup does end up with a bit of carbon all over it. And so having a dedicated setup for that can be a good option. And guys go with something cheap because to punch the primer out, you don't need anything expensive. So
I have actually bought a press off you recently, a smart reloader one, but I haven't set it up yet.
Yeah, they're about $40 or something, and
that's exactly what I bought it for.
Yeah, and that to be honest, that's what they're good for. That's really they're for that reason, and I wouldn't really use them for much else, but they're good for that. Yeah. All right. Brad's smashing some goals. He's finally able to wire up a PID controller to auto control temps on casting pot. Well done. I would have.
There's something I've never played with. I've never got involved with casting bullets.
No, neither have I. But I definitely would have electrocuted myself if I had tried that. So I'm glad he did it. I certainly didn't. Good. All right. You're getting harassed by Charlie in the chat, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But he has a fair question so far. It'll probably go downhill from there. But his question so far is, what do you think the most important piece of kit you have is out of everything you reload with? Or perhaps I can ask in another, because it's all pretty important to end up with loads. But is there a particular item that you've been the most glad that you've bought that has had the most impact on your reloading?
There's things that I've bought that I think have helped improve the quality of the ammo. And then as you get into like when you start shooting like the PRS style shooting, the volume of ammunition so big, and you do so much reloading, you start to look for time savers then as well.
Yeah.
And for a time saver, I'd say the Duroid trimmer, mate. There's just nothing shaves a case as fast as that.
Yeah.
There's trimmers that do as good a job, but nothing that does it as fast.
Emma is agreeing with you in the chat there. I have one as well. I will agree with you. That's probably one of the most significant ones I've got.
Yeah. From a quality point of view, as far as making the ammo better quality, I think the Foster press, the coax.
Yep. Yeah, nice.
One of these has a lot of merit. The way it's constructed, and it just improves the quality of the finish of the case. Just everything about the whole press floats.
Yep.
They're quite expensive now, unfortunately, just because of the dollar and that. But they're still worth very, very much so. If you haven't bought a press at all, if you don't have one, just buy. I would recommend buying one. I reckon they're a great thing.
Yep. We've lost you off the bottom of the screen there, mate. But just
right.
it's we need your smiling face on screen. That's
better.
Yeah. Okay. Mate, we're getting flooded with questions, which is excellent because you're a good man to ask
Yeah.
them to. So there you go, Charlie. Hopefully that's a good answer for you. Ben Jarrett asks, I think you were reloading your 6BR and getting super low SDs. What do you
Yeah.
think the key to this was for that cartridge?
Definitely the annealing. I've kept up with the annealing. I anneal every firing. I'm a big believer in it. I know everyone's got their own opinions on it, but I tried the every second, every third.
Yep.
And annealing every firing, just doing everything the same at the same time.
Yep.
And the other thing is when you're annealing, it's important to clean the cases so the annealer does its job.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got an AMP annealer and inductive annealer, they need to be cleaned to do it so it works properly.
Yep.
Which is probably the main reason I like the cases to be clean is one, so they chamber nice, but two, so the annealer does its job properly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's all little things, like a consistent trim length is good too, because that's maintaining an even length of neck, which gives an even grip length on the bullet.
Mm-hmm.
All of those little things all add up to good things, And then powder charge, which there's a bit of a lot of people have got their own ideas on powder charges as well, but they do having a consistent powder charge can't hurt.
Mm. Yeah,
it's all about consistent speed, isn't it? That's what we want. We'd all like to fire the bullet at exactly the same speed every time.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? That's really certainly the goal, and generally if you can put it at the same speed, it'll go very much the same place as best we can, assuming the bullets are consistent. So
it does give you quite a buzz when you put the magneto on and you fire 3 or 4 in a row and they're all identical.
I wouldn't know. All right, I'll take your word for it. Fox by Foot asks a good question: is trimming necessary, and is there a cheap way to do it accurately?
Well, for consistency, I think having, like I said, the consistent neck length is consistent grip length for the bullet, etc. Mm-hmm. It is necessary to ensure good chambering, because every chamber has a finite neck length, so you don't really want to find out what that is when you're chambering your round.
Yep.
So they're probably the two main things. Probably the cheapest trim length thing I've seen that doesn't work too badly. The lead trim dies do work.
Yep.
I did have one years ago. Probably not something I'd use now because I'm sort of going for a bit better finish, but they do work reasonably well.
That's the quick trim cell. Yeah, and that's like a die with a cutter that goes in the top, and that way you know it's going to be pretty consistent, and it's also relatively quick because you're not locking anything down or screwing anything in. Just put it in.
Yeah, and they're fairly cheap too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, nice. Got back on trimming as well. Because you have a garrote, do you trim every reload, or how often do you trim?
My comp stuff I do just because it's so quick, honestly, if you're trying to go for consistency, and that's what this whole thing is, consistency, that's why I do it. To be honest, everybody thinks your cases grow from firing. They don't really. They hardly grow at all from firing. They grow from when you're full length size, and when you shoot PRS, generally most people are full length sizing, so want to guarantee they good chambering.
Yep.
So you're always getting case growth, so therefore you may as well just trim and just keep it consistent all the time.
I think trimming is one of those things that either can take a fairly long time, depending on your process, or stupidly quick, like the garrote. And I think you're right. The guys who have that ability to trim quickly will do it nearly every time, whereas it is one of the first processes to be thrown out the window from guys who are running those old lathe sort of style or something like that, just because they chew up so much time.
Yeah. Well, I've still got a Wilson trimmer that I use for, like, if I've only got 20 or 50 cases to do, I'll happily do it on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you got to do 200, like I've just finished doing 500 6BRs. I'm glad I didn't have to do that on the hand trimmer.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so
For someone new to reloading, this is from Anthony.
yeah.
Is there a reloading manual that is a must? Where did you get your information from, Shaun?
Just initially when I started, I mean, I bought a what's the guy's name? Harvey.
Nick Harvey.
Nick Harvey.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be probably if you'd only get one book and it's really relevant to Australia because all the products and the brands are relatable. That'd probably be the one I'd get. Nick Harvey's reloading manual. It's about $45, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Something like that.
Sorry, I've been distracted. I've never noticed this, but the Precision Shooting Podcast logo actually matches my headphones. That was not done intentionally. I've just realised that I've got white headphones, and it's anyway. All right, cool. That distracted me for a moment.
You don't think Captain Trent noticed that?
I actually did the headphone. That's the one that I did out of all of those. Trent did all the other ones. I think he might have tidied it up or fixed it up, definitely. But it's the one. Anyway, maybe it was subconscious. Who knows? I'll back up. So we used to teach a reloading course, and we would use that Nick Harvey manual as the we had a step-by-step guide that would then reference the Nick Harvey book for the process. Because the only thing I found about the Nick Harvey book, it can go down, like it'll get to a topic and it'll go really deep and full on into that topic over a chapter, which is excellent. But there's probably only 3 or 4 things that you need from that to start. And so we would sort of point to this paragraph, and this paragraph, read those 3. That's got your basics. Explore the rest once you develop. So, I think I'll back that up, and hopefully we do see some further manuals coming soon. Because we need that. There are some. I don't know. I haven't got it in this room, but I think it's metallic. There's a really good book if you want to get more advanced. This is not for beginner, but I think it's from a Mike. I'll find the details of it in a moment, and we'll come back to it. But there's a really good book that's sort of the next level, which is excellent. All right. Medicine Tribe says the best time-saving asset you have is your daughter helping out. From Emma. How would you rate assistance from family?
Emma's very good, actually. She's one of those people, when you teach her a process, she retains it. So it's pretty good. Yeah.
Here we go. Metallic Cartridge Reloading by M.L. McPherson is probably the most extensive single book reloading book that I've gone through. It is. I would hasten to say it is not for beginners, but it is certainly. I don't know many people who couldn't learn something from that book. Yeah. All right. A question here from Paul. I know we had a topic that we're going to talk on, but we're getting all the love now, Shaun. So we're just going to keep on going with that.
Fair enough.
For your long range shooting, what are the three major concerns, or if the 3 things to focus on needed for reloading to get hits on target? Where do you spend the most time?
When you say long range, are you talking like the PRS style shooting we're doing, or it's?
Let's go with longer. Let's go with your real long range. There's no clarification there, but let's go with 1,000+ stuff.
Yeah, well, this is something that I've played with a little bit, and we're starting to get into it more now.
Okay.
Things that, like, I don't do any of this sort of stuff for the PRS style shooting and that. Weight sorting bullets, checking bearing surface, all of that kind of stuff. Yep. We're talking about sorting out very low volumes, not hundreds and thousands of bullets. We're only sorting. If you're willing to spend money on CNC turned solid bullets and stuff like that, some of that stuff you don't need to do. But I'm not real interested in sending $4 and $5 bullets over the hill. I just don't have that kind of spare cash.
Yeah. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah, but again, I think accuracy, there's a lot of it in the brass prep. When you're getting into that really long range stuff, most of it's going to be single feed type shooting, so you don't need to be neck sizing the cases once they're fire formed to your rifle and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, having a really accurate powder charge, and then all coming back to that again, consistent velocity. I mean, long range shooting is consistent velocity. That's for consistency. That's the ultimate key.
Yep. Yeah, Paul's putting there 1600, but I don't think you've really gone much beyond that. So,
no,
that's. I mean, yeah, I think just you can probably sum it up in one word, as far as I'm concerned. It's consistency. Is just being 100%. Super consistent from case to case, and taking the time to spend on each process. Like, if you're shooting that sort of 2000 plate, as Shaun says, you're generally not putting PRS level of rounds out over a course of a day or a weekend. And so if it takes you a long time to reload those 20, 50 rounds or whatever it might be, pour your heart into them, because you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and look, if you haven't got so much time, do some research on what is more important. And there's good books that one I've put the link in the chat, but some of the advancements in, I'll get them, modern advancements in long range shooting by Brian Litz. Number 2 has some really good, like, if you have to do this or this, which one matters the most, and it clarifies that. It's probably a good.
I mean, it all comes down to like once you've built these rounds, you've got to
send them well.
Well, you've got to send them.
Yeah,
but you got to verify true how they actually shoot closer in before you can start thinking about stretching them out that far. You know, because you got to know what that curve is. Simple as that, really. And you find out how good they really are doing that. First before you.
Yeah, got it.
All
right, I got a question. Sorry.
Yeah, I've had a couple of good sessions down at Charlie's. A couple of guys have got 338s, custom built things, and like we'll probably only shoot 100 rounds in 3 days. And yeah, you learn a lot just on those slower days. You're not shooting a lot, but what you are shooting's, you learn a lot out of it.
Every round counts more that way, doesn't it? When it costs you
a coin. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Probably need to invest more in a much higher quality spotter as well for the longer range shooting.
That's good. Yeah, nice. All right, I got a question. I've remembered to check Instagram tonight. I got a question on Insta to throw to you. When thinking reloading, what do you consider a good group? Like what are you happy with? And obviously that will depend a little bit on what you're perhaps doing with it. And are you shooting one shot groups are the best. Always shoot them really well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 rounds. What's a good group? And what are you aiming for? Oh, we've got proof coming. What are you aiming for SD and ES? And for those who are not familiar, standard deviation. And then that's a
good group at 100. 10 shots at 100 meters.
10 shots. Yeah, nice, mate.
Yeah.
Nice. And ES is extreme spread, so how far your velocity is from your lowest one to your highest one. So what do you do when you're load developing, and what are you looking for?
Since that's Scott Satterley brought out that speed test method a few years ago, I've adopted that.
Okay.
Basically just loading 2 or 3 rounds at each powder charge, and running them over the chrono. This is to start with anyway. And if you can work it out just by reading the numbers, but if you actually graph it, I've got my son to graph the speeds, and you can actually see the flat spots in speed as you break into those speed nodes with the charges.
Yep.
So that's where I start at, and by I'm regurgitating what other people have said. Everybody knows this. Once you know where those flat spots are, that gives you much more leeway in your powder charge.
Yep.
I mean, some say you don't need to be as accurate with your powder charge because the rifle isn't as sensitive to powder charge versus speed in that range. So if your powder charge isn't spot on, it isn't really going to bother your velocity that much.
Mm-hmm.
So once you find those flat spots, and I mean, usually as long as you can work your way through the charges without finding pressure, you'll find around 3 or sometimes 4, but usually 3 speed nodes. And then, just pick where you're at. I mean, I usually go for the higher one if it's that's just me personally. A lot of people go for the lower ones. If you can get that extra speed and it's not at the expense of your brass, a little bit of speed never hurts, But there's no right rhyme. I mean, if you want to stretch a cartridge to its absolute limit, obviously a little bit of extra speed always helps, but you don't need to, and you got really good consistent speed lower down, and you're not shooting super long. When I say super long, inside 1,000 meters, well, maybe go for the slower speed,
Yep.
There's no right. I don't think there's a right or wrong there. Would you agree? Or
yeah, that's what I think is great about reloading, is that this is not a one path process. There are multiple ways. That there's a lot of different endpoints, and there's also multiple ways to get to one endpoint. And this is where some people get worked up and like, oh, you shouldn't do it that way, you should do it this way, and 3 shots are useless and you need 5, or no, 5's useless, you need 10, or 10's useless, you only need 3. I actually really enjoy that because it creates diversity in sort of methods and hey, look, at the end of the day, are you hitting targets that you're aiming to hit? And if so, fantastic. Or are you pushing the distance you're aiming to? And perhaps, if someone's got a different method and you see it, I've just posted up the subtly loading method in the chat if anyone wants to check that out. But that it allows this variation, and it's good. Some guys wouldn't ever bother trimming. And some guys swear by it. And I think that it can be a little disheartening sometimes to new guys, like, well, just tell me what to do. Well, just find someone who's having good results, follow them, and you'll eventually learn enough to go, oh, actually, I'm gonna test that or try that or not do that, or only start looking if it's not working. If you just want something that works, that's another option.
And I mean, the saddling method's great too because you don't use a lot of components to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You need a chronograph, though, obviously, which not everybody has, but it's a pretty important. Like, if you're serious and you want to shoot past 300 meters, you really need to get a chronograph, and that number you punch into your ballistic solver is a pretty good start. I mean, you don't have to have a chrono. You can reverse calculate it and all that if you want to do that too, which me and Charlie actually used to do before we ever owned any, and it does work. But
okay.
I didn't like maths at school. I'd rather just put the number in and be done with it.
Are you like me? Like, if they had said in year 10 or 11, like, okay, you can do physics, or you could do physics with a focus on ballistics, you'd be like, I just became the smartest kid in school. I'm interested in this. Because
I would have picked 4 units.
Yeah, because I didn't realise what physics actually meant until you start shooting.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been really useful to know. Anyway, we seem to be okay. We seem to be going all right. What the tail end of that question? Another one that's in the chat. What sort of ES, extreme spread, and standard deviation are you looking for? What sort of numbers is acceptable?
I mean, realistically, if you can achieve single digits, that's more than adequate. I mean, the lower the better, obviously, but I wouldn't get ultra focused on numbers. Like I said, it is nice when you get that 1s, 2s, and even the odd 0s occasionally, but if if you've got a velocity that doesn't vary more than 10 feet per second, it's going to be a pretty consistent shooting rifle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even 20 feet per second,
Yeah, no, it is important. All right. Sheldrake's lamenting that he wished he was into reloading because this would all make much more sense, which is a fair point. What is your process for finding a maximum cartridge overall length for a projectile seating depth? What do you do in that scenario, Shaun? Because you're about to do that scenario, aren't you? Because you've got something new arriving.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
I thought you might want to mention it.
Yeah, I've just bought a pre-fit barrel from down here at Rhino Sport on a 7 Storm for my Vector. So
very nice.
Yeah, it'll be the first time I haven't used my gunsmith to do a barrel for me, because with that question you just asked me, you get a bit spoilt there. And I actually give him rounds loaded to the length that I want. So when I get the rifle back, I already know what they are.
Right.
That's the starting point anyway.
Yep.
So he actually sets up like that length is what it is touching, or I say I want that length minus 20 thou, whatever it may be.
Yep.
But if you want to, find your lands, like I disassemble the bolt and do it that way. Basically, take your ejector and everything out, and you're basically using the bolt to push the round in. You know the process. Yeah. It's probably not something for if you're not experienced with your rifle and pulling guns apart to do it that way. If you just the Hornady comparator overall length gauge is probably the cheapest and easiest and not hard to learn method. I've got one here. Do you want me to quickly show that? Or
sure, mate. Yeah, if you got one handy. Yeah, you probably got a few tools and bits and pieces lying around there.
Actually, I just got.
Make sure you're wearing pants if you're going to stand up, mate.
Yeah, no, I've got clothes on.
Okay, good. Because episode 13 was pretty wild. Anyway, carry on.
So that's the tool there. So you screw your case on. You can buy these cases or get one of your fired cases tapped and threaded. Screws on the back. I mean, most people who've done a bit of reloading are familiar with these. Then you set your projectile in the end, and that goes into the rifle.
Yep.
And then you basically just slide the plunger out. It pushes the projectile out till it touches the lands, and then you lock it up.
Yep.
And then pull it all back out, put it back together with the plunger still in place, and then you measure it. That's probably the most common way most people would do it. And the tool's pretty cheap, and it's not a hard method to learn. Heaps of videos on YouTube how to do it, and there's a heap of other methods on how to do it as well. But if I'm just doing loads for a hunting rifle and I want to know where they're at, that I'll just use that method. I do the other method with the bolt with my comp rifle, because you constantly want to maintain that jump for your bullets and stuff. So I want it to be really accurate. But yeah, that OAL tool is probably the method I'd pick, especially if you haven't done it before. It's not a hard method to learn.
Yeah, it is pretty basic, pretty simple, and the kit is relatively easy to use. Doesn't take a lot to learn that one. That's good, mate. Now I missed a question here from Ian, mostly because I just ignore Ian, but this one's a decent one, which is rare. Ian asks about about what trickler you use. How do you put your powder in your cases mostly?
Until probably 6 months ago, I was just using a Chargemaster Light, but I got the opportunity to get hold of one of the A&D scales with the auto trickler setup in it, which is much more accurate in its calibration and tolerance than the Chargemaster. So I've sort of been running that for about 6 months now.
Yeah, nice.
I've got to say I'm pretty happy with it. And once again, it's I wouldn't say it's like so much more accurate it's ridiculous, but it's way faster because it auto throws and auto trickles everything. So you're basically dumping 85% of your charge through a thrower, and it only trickles the last little bit. And it's I wish I'd bought years ago, but it was probably out of my budget 10 years ago. So
I'm extremely jealous of every single person who has one of them, and then even more so jealous of the people who have two of them. All right, I have missed a couple of questions here, so we'll just roll back for a second. What do you anneal? What annealing process do you use? You said that you annealed, so what do you use for that?
The AMP induction annealer. I've had it for about a fair few years now. Actually, it's one of the old Mark Ones. So you've got, I don't know if you're familiar with the machine, but there's no gas or anything like that involved. I did have a gas annealer initially, but you've got to maintain the gas as the bottle loses pressure, the flame changes. You do get a lot of inconsistencies with gas,
Yep.
and a lot more maintenance. And the AMP, you basically turn it on,
Yep.
get your setting, you get a pilot. So that's safe for a 338 Lapua, that one.
Yep, cool.
You put your case in a case holder,
mm-hmm.
and then this screws into the machine, and then you drop it into the machine. The height's set. Press the button, and it literally takes 5 seconds, and it's done.
Yep.
The same every time, and it's you can even buy automatic feeders for them now. I don't have one, but you can do 100 cases in one of those things in absolutely no time at all. Yeah.
Again, a lot of the reloading gear, you can start with very little, very cheap, but what you're often paying for is the higher end is super consistency and time, and often it is
100%.
It is money out the door for a quicker process that is still consistent, still good, because you can definitely do all sorts of things very quickly, cheaply, but they won't net the same results. Yeah, very good. Scott has a question. I'm not sure if you're in a position to answer this one, actually, Shaun. But,
is it Patel?
Yeah, of course it is. Actually, how many drinks is considered too many at a Darwin match? But I'll counter that with probably less than a match in Mildura, Scott. Anyway.
Yeah. Or less than Dave Acker at Little River.
Everything should be less than Dave Acker at Little River. All right. So I think we got a couple of questions there about seating depth, which is, do you know what your seating depth commonly is when you end up with it?
Yeah, well, I've always tried to maintain around the 20th hour mark with the rifle I'm shooting now, because it seems to always maintain reasonable accuracy.
Yep.
But there's some really good articles on seating depth that have just come out in the Precision Rifle blog.
Yeah.
Have you read them?
I have not read them, but I think Steve touched on a bit of that last week, and some stuff that Steve Hurt was well into himself. So it might line up with that. But I think I
mean that Mark Gordon that runs Short Action Customs, he's spent a lot of money and a lot of time on that data. Like, it's got to hold some merit, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. And that's
over a period of years too, not just a weekend session, you know.
Nice. So that's the joy of this sport maturing so much more in that PRS world, especially. But as these long range stuff comes more and more into it as well, that these research projects can go for years and all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, no, that's excellent. I will have to check that out. We'll find that. All right, making sure I haven't missed any other questions. I apologise if I have. Is a reloading course something I'll do again? I don't know, Fox. At this stage, no. We may do something with our club here in Adelaide, but yeah, we will see. It's filled with challenges, reloading courses, not actually running the course. But anyway, we'll cover that another time. Charlie's having a dig at you about the difference between a llama and a deer, except he can't spell llama, so we can move on from that. I assume there's a bigger story to that, so we might.
I'll tell you about it one day.
Yeah, obviously not now.
I actually passed that test, but we still laugh about it.
Okay, good. Oh well, that's all right. Brilliant. What else have we got? Okay. I know Ben Richo covered that. We got seating depth. Here's an interesting question in terms of ordering new barrel, considering you have recently. How do you decide what freebore and specs you want for a new barrel? Does that cross your mind, and what do you specify for that?
Oh, this was actually the first pre-fit barrel I've ever ordered.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I normally get my barrels chambered by the gunsmith, and I give them the round. I mean, for PRS, being able to maintain your bullet jump and still a good mag feedable length is pretty critical. So that's sort of where that governs where you're going to go with that. Generally, most of the time,
Yep.
You want to be able to use all of that neck to chase your bullet jump for the life of the barrel. With the barrel that I just ordered, the pre-fit, it was throated specifically to shoot Berger 180 VLDs. So, and it's a pretty easy bullet to get here in Australia. So
yeah, nice.
I was happy to just run with that. Danny got a guy in the US who does all these barrels now, actually, called Paradigm.
Yep.
Gunsmithing over there apparently are very good. So I'll tell you in a couple of months.
Yeah, we'll find out soon. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So guys,
I was hoping to be here today. Actually, it hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where is it, Danny?
I tell you what, if it's coming in Australia Post, it could be another week. They're way behind. But anyway, that's another story. Yeah. Guys, if you're watching, thank you so much for being here and being involved. If you a couple of little things tomorrow night, Ian Porter is on the show, which you're looking forward to. There is a surprise video, not surprise. I've told you about it 4 times. There is a video from Dave Acker on his current Team Impact goals. So looking forward to seeing that. If you know Dave, you will also be looking forward to seeing that. And if you don't know Dave, start looking forward to seeing that. That's always good fun. Sunday night we've got Team AI, and they're going to do the Q&A. So we've at least got Butters and Birchie from that, which will be excellent. A couple of really good shooters, and throw all sorts of questions at those, especially all the terrible ones at Butters. Make sure he will get his answers on some of those. What else is happening? If you have any more questions for Shaun, chuck them through. We've got about 10 minutes or so left, so now is the time. There's a couple coming through, so we'll jump onto that, and that will be excellent. And I think next week, all sorts of guests lined up. It is looking to be. We'll be back for another week and give another go and see how we go. So look forward to that. Righto, Shaun, we're back with you. We have a question here from Brad. Brad, I'm going to just put a little bit more paraphrasing around your question. Hopefully it is your intention. But for someone who's getting into reloading or is reloading but looking to improve their consistency, is there like a couple of processes that you've found have the most significant effect on that consistency in your rounds?
Yeah, I mean, having a good set of dies and the press is a good start.
Yep.
Because the brass is where a lot of it's at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good call.
I mean, I don't know whereabouts this guy's at with his reloading, but yeah, consistent brass is key to good ammo. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of I got a little tool here. I don't know, a lot of people are familiar with them, but if you're new to reloading or you haven't done a lot, this is a Wilson case gauge, mm-hmm. and a lot of people have trouble maintaining their headspace and just basically getting the small points of their rounds all over. What this case gauge does, you put a case in either before or after you've processed it, and it has a high and a low spot on it. So it basically tells you that if that case there isn't above the high and it isn't below the low section, that tells you that the headspace of that cage of that case is within SAMI spec, which for most off-the-shelf rifles will be fine.
Yep.
And then on the other end, it's got the trim section. Yeah. So if it doesn't protrude past the high section there and it doesn't protrude below the low section, it's within a chamberable limit there as well.
Okay.
I don't really use it much anymore, but I do use it to show people what they're trying to achieve when they process brass.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're getting into reloading and you have never done it before, I highly recommend you buy a case gauge. You can buy these from BRT Shooting in Queensland. Yep. They're only about $50, mm-hmm. but you'll know straight away whether you're on the right track with your die adjustments and your trimming and all of that kind of stuff,
Yeah, really good.
Yeah. It's probably, and then probably one other simple thing to maintain good headspace, this dirty looking brush, mm-hmm. you clean your dies.
Yep.
But we're trying to get 2 to 3 thou shoulder bump on your dies. And if you're not familiar with what a thou is, 40 thou is, in rough terms, 1 millimetre. Well, we're trying to get 3 thou. So it doesn't take much crap in your dies to start causing a build-up and pushing things where they don't want to be.
Yep.
I use these brushes to clean my chamber and my rifle at the comps to keep all the dust out.
Yep.
And yeah, clean your dyes. They're, mate, $10, best money you'll ever spend.
Speaking of spending money, I think a few of the guys in the chat might chip in for you to get a manicure for your birthday, mate. There's some gorgeous, the gorgeous presentation fingers you've got going on there. I love it.
Oh yeah, they're gnawed down. Yeah,
It's beautiful.
COVID-19, mate, highly stressful.
I can tell. I can tell. Oh, well, pamper yourself, mate. Pamper yourself. All right. Excellent. Is there any presses that you can recommend under $600 further to? That's the question. Are you? I took this. There's a second part, so I'll ask that separately.
Oh, okay.
Are there any presses that you can recommend under the $600 mark? Is there stuff that you've used that is good without blowing the bank out? And then the second part of this question is about turret presses. Do they have less accuracy compared to a single stage? Any thoughts on either of those?
I'll be honest, I don't have any experience using a turret press.
Mm-hmm.
You hear all sorts of things about stuff like that. But a lot of people are saying they're building really good ammo on a Dillon press, and that's probably as much of a turret press as you'd ever get. But yeah, Dillon's well over $600.
Dillon's though are still an O-frame press. There's still a big O with the thing going up, whereas the turret press is not. It's open at one side. My experience with that, having seen and certainly having customers use them and many shooters that I know, the only turret press that seems to constantly get really good reviews is the T7 from Reading. I haven't seen any other turret, and being super clear for those who are not familiar with the difference, progressive presses are different to turret presses. Progressive is where you do multiple processes in one go, in one pull of the lever. A turret press just will have multiple dies sitting in it, but you only do one press. It works as a single press. It just means a single stage press. It just means that you do multiple things. And so the T7 from Reading, just the way it's built, the weight of it, and the design seems to be very good. But what about a cheaper press, Shaun? Have you used anything other than the coax or?
I had a Lyman single stage. It wasn't a bad press. It was very well made.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think what the other one was one of the Lee presses, but I can't remember which one. And they weren't bad, but the main reason I went to the coax was because of the full floating mechanism of the whole. I don't know whether any the way the dies are so easy. They basically move in and out. They can go wherever they need to be. The jaws are all fully floating.
Yep.
So you probably can't see it, but it's
just swing a little bit to the side, but we can see. Yep.
Yeah. So the dies are just. That's how quick it is to change a die too. So if you're in a process where you need to change dies from one to another and back to another, that's as quick as it gets.
Yeah, nice.
But so this thing can go wherever it wants to go, and the jaws that hold the shell float as well. So it just creates this really good self-aligning setup, and that's where the coax has really got a great reputation for building nice ammo. And I think they're retail for about $670 now. So I think I paid $450 for that. That was a lot of years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice, mate. Nice.
If you want to make money, just buy a heap of gun stuff, put it under the house, and sell it in 5 years. It'll be worth twice as much.
It happens. It happens. Probably don't buy it now, though. Probably don't buy it now.
No.
Now it's probably one of the peaks or getting close to the peak.
Yeah, you have to keep it for 20 years.
Not wrong. Cool. Good stuff. Have you got any thoughts on inline seeders at all? Have you ever used any inline type?
Oh, great question. Yeah. I'm actually in the process.
It may be from someone you know.
Buying a couple of them.
Okay, what are you getting?
I'm going to get one for the 7mm, and I'm going to get one for my 6BR as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just they've got a great reputation for being an awesome seeder, but the main reason is I can seat all the rounds long, and then take the little press and the inline seeder down to the range at Charlie's and can do a full seating depth test down there,
Yeah.
Whereas, there's no other dyes out there that can. You don't actually even need a press. I've actually used them by hand. They'll push the bullet in by hand.
Yeah, right.
They are a really good thing. I use these the Foster Micro Ultra Seeder in the press,
Mm-hmm.
and they're an awesome dye. They do a really great job, but I can't use it out on site.
Yep.
They're the inline seeder by Wilson's. Yeah, they were invented for bench rest shoes doing their load development at the range. So couldn't recommend it highly enough.
Absolutely. Realise
I've
sorry.
Quite a few of my friends have them already.
Yeah, right. I think
quite a few of my friends have them already. Yeah.
That was Pete asking that question. So
yeah.
Back to Fox's question. I realised we didn't quite answer because I think we settled on the coax being the best thing ever invented, and didn't his question was a cheaper press. Sorry, man. Reading, I like Reading. That they've always consistently been really good quality gear, and you generally be a bit cheaper. They're not cheap. They're not crappy at all. But just a Reading Big Boss or something like that would be a good option. Hornady makes some fairly good value for money stuff, but yeah, it's go from there. Or if you're trying to keep on the cheap now, but you may upgrade it to a Forster or something later on, even a Lee to just get started with. It's not a brilliant press, but it got you started, didn't it, Shaun?
Yeah, for sure. I guess it's one of those things you got to decide where you want to go with it. I mean, sometimes you get into things thinking, "Oh, this will do me," but yeah, I found reloading it can be a bit of a progressive thought process. Like I thought I was happy with this, but I'm not really now.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic, Shaun. Well, mate, thank you very much for coming on board. It was we must let you go and eat some cake because
Cheers, mate.
That can be your team Impact Dynamics is to smash some cake in this week. I reckon you got that nailed, and appreciate it. And I know you've got a fair extensive knowledge in reloading, and thank you for sharing. We were able. We didn't really. I think there was one question that wasn't relevant to your process, and aside from that, you're able to get on top of everything else. So that's good. And I think we talked about this earlier today, but reloading is such a diverse process that there are so many ways to be able to get to whatever goal it is, and I think that's you expressed that earlier that it's one person's view on it is not the be all end all. There are certainly
that's right. And you got to be willing to listen to everybody what they got to say. You don't have to adopt or take it all on board, but just have a chat. You usually pick something up very conversational.
Yeah, I think that's right, and you keep developing your knowledge. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming on board, mate. It is good to see you, and stay safe in this period. And no doubt we'll be out shooting matches again as soon as possible.
Yeah, can't wait. G'day to everyone in the PRS crew, and it can't happen soon enough.
Not wrong, mate. Not wrong. Looking forward to it already. All right, mate. Very good. Good to see you, Shaun. Happy birthday, and enjoy your evening. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. It's great to have you back again. Tomorrow night, as I said, Ian Porter is going to be on the show, and looking forward to that. He's a really smart dude and funny dude, so we'll get through that. There'll be memes, there'll be videos. It'll be a good night, nice and relaxed for a Friday night. So looking forward to that. Stay safe. Enjoy your Friday. If you're at work, your last day of work, maybe we'll see. And thanks for getting on board. Projectile Warehouse as well. If you need any reloading gear, funnily enough, you can save 5% off there at using the code IDLive5, IDLive number 5 on the end, and. Give us a call if you need any help with anything in particular or particular pieces of equipment and such, and we can get stuff for you. Sounds good. Anyway, guys, thanks so much, and hope you guys will have a good evening, and we will catch you soon. Hey.